Hey guys, Robbie here at RV Sales of Oregon. I don't get to do a lot of videos like this, but I wish I got to do more. I'm absolutely in love with these trucks. I got a few of them at home. Not this big and bad, but the motor and a general kind of same truck. Anyway, it's a 7.3 liter power stroke. It's a 1999 F550. These were not something you just went to the dealership and picked up. They were bought without a bed on them, and then it was custom because they're such big, strong trucks. They're normally used for commercial use. I got this from a gentleman that just used it for towing around his fifth wheel. He was hanging up his RV in boots, and we were lucky enough to get it. If you know these motors, you'll know that they are super sought after. If you don't know about them, I recommend you do your research so you don't think I'm just telling you it's great. But it's 7.3 liter. They were actually they were made by International originally as a T444E as a tractor motor. And then Ford Navistar and International joined together and they made the 7.3 Power Stroke, which is a turboed version of it. They are just absolutely bulletproof. I have one of these at home with 500,000 miles on it, and I have two with 250,000 miles on it, and they're just getting broken. Well, they're pretty well broken in, but they'll go for a lot longer than that. This unit has 100,000 miles on it. It is near impossible to find a 7.3 with that low of miles. And then on this platform, on the F550 platform, is just, it's an absolute unicorn. If I had any way to make an excuse for me to buy it, I probably would. But anyway, so on the 550, you have a wider front axle than you do on like the 1-tons and the 250s. So you actually get a better turning radius, even though it's a bigger truck. And then obviously it can handle a whole lot more weight. I'm gonna pop the hood on this thing just because if you're watching this video, my guess is that you like these trucks. And if you've seen inside those engine bays, I mean, they're incredibly reliable. They're not always the cleanest, but this thing has been absolutely babied. You have a cold air intake here, bigger alternator was installed. You'll see these lines are actually methane injection if you need that extra bit of power. Something you don't see a lot on diesels, but really, really cool. You know, adds about 100 horsepower when you need it. And this thing has a bunch of stuff going for it. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, but yeah, so I mean, that's what this is methane injection. You are fairly stock on it. It's a stock turbo. You do have bigger up pipes and down pipes. So you're 4-inch from your turbo out. So your down pipe's 4-inch, and then it's all new boots, all new up pipes here. That's what this red and blue is there. But super duper clean. I mean, there's not any oil dust that you're used to seeing on these things. And just so well taken care of. I mean, this guy even went ahead and installed a system so it has 2 oil filters, just because these are a high pressure oil injection system, so they kind of hurt oil a little bit quicker than most trucks. But dual oil filters is just another thing the guy threw on it just to make sure it would stay this perfect for this long. This is for satellite radio. That's what that is there. You do have the wing up top. If you're going to tow a fifth wheel, they're super handy. It's going to help fight off a lot of the wind. If you're not going to use it that way, it can easily be removed. It's just part of this head unit here and can be taken off. So it doesn't need to be there. I will wait to go inside the cabin. So you do have your standard fuel tank. I believe it's a 35-gallon fuel tank, and then you have another 40-gallon fuel tank built into this box. Oh, that box there. So 70 gallons of fuel on here should get you halfway across the country. Your dualies in the rear with the commercial size tire. Well, I guess 19.5. So about as close to a commercial size tire as you'll see on a pickup like this. Fontaine bed, so it's an all fiberglass bed, matches the truck darn near perfect. You do have the heavy duty fifth wheel hitch in there. Actually, oh, here, as I walked right by it, let me show you this. So this is actually your methane tank for that methane injection. I believe there's some extra methane that comes with it, but just a nice thing to have. I mean, really climbing over hills. The guy that I got it from told me he really only used it going over the Siskiyous. You know, at the summits was the only time he ever needed it. But yeah, anyway, so it has that. You are 12,000 pounds at your hitch, I believe, 12,500. 12,000 pounds at the hitch with the 7-pin, and you do have the brake buddy in there. Of course, that's what this thing was used for, so no surprise there. I'm gonna make you get down low here. So this truck had the leaf suspension delete and went with commercial size airbags, and it won't take you long to see where those are. That's these big gigantic bags there. It's going to make the ride smoother, a lot smoother than leaf springs, and you're actually going to be able to pull more weight without feeling like there's more weight on there. So commercial size bags, and I don't know how well you guys know your stuff, but look at that diff. I mean, that differential is gigantic. That's the biggest I've seen on a truck like this. But it makes sense. It's a 2-ton truck, but just an absolute tank. I mean, I don't know that There are trucks that maybe make more horsepower, but this thing, when you're towing stuff, it doesn't feel like you're towing a darn thing. And I can say that firsthand with 1-ton trucks. This is a 2-ton truck, so I imagine even more so with something like this. Full-size spare, just some extra stuff in here, but really I'm just showing you this for the storage. You do have an air horn up top. That's what the red line running into that horn is. Just fun to have. I have an air horn on my truck. I've never once regretted having it. I'll give you a chance to see it. I mean, it's straight as an arrow. Again, the mileage is, it's incredible. You just don't see mileage, this low of mileage on these units. They're such good rigs that everybody wants to use them. All right, welcome to the cabin here of this F550. It is, it's kind of it's an XLT package, so it's got a lot of the trim stuff on it, you know, powered windows, cruise control, everything like that. I just don't know how they're ranked because the 550 is not your standard rig, but it is the XLT package and a bunch of stuff has been added on here. So you have a pyrometer that's going to tell you your exhaust gas temperature, which is really big when you're towing stuff. And this thing does have a tuner on it, so if you run it hard, you can get it to overheat if you try. So it's good to be able to see that if you're running on a big tune, running a bunch of extra horsepower, to see your exhaust gas temp. That's something to keep your eye on. Trans temperature is very handy when you're towing stuff. It's something that most of these trucks don't have a gauge for, so it's nice to see. Typically they don't climb at all, but it's one of those things you want to protect your transmission, make sure it's healthy. And then your boost control, or boost reader, or whatever it is, just shows you the boost coming from your turbo. Honestly, I just think it's nice to have. I really just enjoy having them. I don't know where it's come in handy for me, but I like having a boost gauge. And then this is your tuner in here. So I don't know all the tunes that it has, but I know it goes up to 150 plus horsepower. And I think there's 6 or 8 different tunes. You can upload more for what you want to do, but honestly, you're probably just going to be running the tow and maybe for performance if you want. There is like an eco one that gets you better fuel mileage if you're maybe pulling this thing around, not towing anything. You can do that. This Trax monitor is that auxiliary fuel tank, will tell you how much fuel's on board, your current tank, how many miles you've got. So that's just the smart thing for it. You can't see it, but there's a toggle switch here for a retarder, also known as a Jake brake. So you do have a Jake brake on here, really helpful when you're towing stuff. Your brakes are gonna last a lot longer using something like that. And then you have the controls for your methane injection right here. Down below you do have a CB radio, which would be really nice, driving cross country. Your brake controllers right here. Your powered seats on both of these 2 front seats. Stock radio on there. Gosh, I know I'm forgetting stuff. This thing is just so well taken care of. Just good storage in your center console there. And I think I'll just move on because I know I'm forgetting stuff and it's not going to come back to me right now. But I mean, pretty well equipped. It's got just about everything I would ever want to do to a truck. And then since we're here, we'll just take a look at the back seat from here instead of getting out and looking. But you can see, I mean, almost no wear and tear. Yeah, you have a couple little scuff marks, but you know, the thing's 23 years old now. It looks like a 10 out of a 10 to me for being 20 plus years old. So they are the kind of faux leather seats. I don't want to call them leather and have someone call me a liar. They're not real leather, but it's like they're leather trim, and just really comfy. They don't get too sticky or anything like that, too hot. And obviously they've stood the test of time. Little tiny bit of fraying on the driver's seat where you'll see it the most, but that's not going to stop you from doing anything you want to do. Yeah, I mean, 100,498 miles. If you know these trucks, that's probably all I needed to say in this video is, hey, it's 7.3, it's got 100,000 miles on it. All right, well, I guess the camera got tired of hearing me ramble about this truck that I love so much, so I'll leave it at that, guys. It's a 1999 Ford F550 with the 7.3 Power Stroke in it. One thing I did not mention is, if you don't know this, 1999 is the last year of the 7.3 Power Stroke with forged internals, so a lot heavier duty. If you are going to throw a lot of power at it, that's what you want. It's going to hold up internally a lot better than the cast iron ones do. So yeah, there she is, straight as an arrow, beautiful rig. I need someone to come get it so I can stop looking at it and trying to think of excuses why I need to take it home. So anyway, guys, thanks for checking out the video. If you have any questions, just give me a shout. I'm happy to tell you anything I know about it. You guys enjoy your day.